Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. I have my crystal ball off to the side, so I will be scrying throughout this message. If you're new to my channel, my readings are a little different, and if you're returning, welcome back. You know how we do. If it doesn't resonate with you, if you're forcing the story to fit, arguing with it in any way, just leave it behind for the people who it's meant for. Channel members, you'll have a collective message posted later this week, so definitely check that out. And if you're part of the High Priestess tier, you just had a little bit of a surprise posted for me. It's a sneak peek at something I'm working on that will finally kind of go live in June. So definitely check that out. And let's see. That's it. If you're interested in the channel memberships, that link's in the description box. Okay. Taking a step aside. And allowing spirit to pass through me. Opening up to receive information. Okay. Oh, wow. All right. So there's like two layers in this energy. One is a main layer that is the overall story, maybe what's front and center. And then there's this other layer where there's a lot of things happening that aren't necessarily taking up as much of our time and our attention, or they might be for some of you. So whoever this collective is, there's major changes in the works. Things that we're trying to either create or build for ourselves that's requiring re-strategizing. Strategies are very important right now. Practical planning is important right now. Because we're making these changes and we're implementing these changes in the pattern of our life, I'm going to put it that way, there's something taking place down here where it feels very Five of Wands. So 5 is the number of change. However, the 5 of Wands depicts these boys with these staves that are like beating the crap out of each other. And they're not really doing serious damage, but they're learning how to fight. They're learning how to be stronger. There's something happening on the subtext level of this collective's life where there's situations, sometimes plural, where we're learning how to become stronger. I feel that there is a balance of the masculine and feminine energy that's to be found here. So, for example, this may be manifesting as an obstacle in the direction someone's trying to head in. And if it's an obstacle, if we're used to giving up after an obstacle, it's, really falling back into that yin energy. It's requiring us to go yang, to move through the obstacle, right? To keep going. I'm seeing like I'm being given the feeling of like the Knight of Wands, right? And so I'll get to that. I just want to put a pin in that real fast. But if, for example, you're the kind of person that you have really strong boundaries and you don't tolerate anything, it's almost as though we're learning to come back to center into more of a feminine energy where we're a little bit more nurturing and receptive. There's a fine balance that's being achieved in this subtext, but it doesn't feel that way. How it feels is it strictly feels like an obstacle. This thing is an obstacle. This person is presenting an obstacle. There's these conflicts, and it's all about the giving and receiving of energy. So we've been in a very long story, therefore, of giving and receiving and how to appropriately give and appropriately receive. And we may have turned a little miserly in some ways, or some of you may still be giving too much. And so there's this balance that's trying to play out. The 5 of Wands, as I said, even though it's conflict, competition, petty quarrels, things like that, those are all wrapped up in the 5 of Wands. Those boys are teaching each other to become stronger. So this is what's happening on some layer of a person's life at this time as they're making these major moves. As above, so below. So there's this mirroring quality, and this energy of change is happening on all the levels of our life, whether it's personal character as a level and personal integration and alchemy as a level, or if it's what we're doing for work or what we're doing, as a passion project, for example, or in our friend group, or where it is that we see ourselves going in the next 10 years. There's these massive pieces that are all moving and shifting, and they're all trying to come into a space where they align to allow the truest version of ourself free, right? Okay. 3 cards. Okay, so okay, so I had a whole tangent that happened. How do I, because it's not going to make sense to anybody. Name of a band. The band is a band I did a music video for, and the song was about sacrifices. And so that led me into, basically there's some sort of sacrifice. There's things that might need to be given up in order to come into this balance. For some of you, it's going to be sacrificing various parts of yourself that no longer work for you anymore. They're things that you've outgrown, but it's a little painful to release, right? For some of you, that's like protections, right? The way that you view justice, the way that you view balance inside of your life. For some of you, it's going to be, the way that you view how you're supposed to treat other people and not necessarily giving as much as you used to give all the time. There's something here where it may be a little painful to readjust that giving and receiving energy and how we manage it, right? And it's that emperor sort of energy, how we manage it. And we're seeing that here with the Page of Pentacles. This is a new beginning into how we show up into the world. And it's based on this right here, true balance. I don't know why I just laughed about that. I don't know why I just laughed about that. But in order to have this actual balance inside of our life, I'm being very drawn to the sword as silver and the scales as brass. So we may have to curb the things that we would normally react with, right? So curbing that. I'm thinking silver tongue with that silver sword, right? Silver words. And so softening the way that we approach something sometimes, or with that brass, having more strength behind our actions sometimes, depending on which way you swing, right? If you swing in the direction of having been too open, learning to close up a little bit so that you're not necessarily giving everything away to people who are trying to take advantage of you. If it's, for example, you don't give enough, right? And you're just like, yeah, I don't want to do any of this. I don't want to do any of this. Then opening up and allowing yourself to be in a more nurturing space. There's something about that recalibration. It's bringing us into that energy of the world card for whatever reason. That's how I'm feeling it. It's because I'm getting the energy of the idea behind the world card is the cosmic hermaphrodite, the totality and the balance of two extremes. So yeah. And this is something that I don't think we really expected to happen. It's like a part of our journey that we weren't necessarily planning on. It's just a part of our journey that's happening right now because it is in the right time with the card of justice there. For somebody, this situation, whatever it is, that is causing these obstacles, one of the ways that we're venting out the energy and processing the energy is through our anxiety and our fears. We may find that we have this reaction, that whatever reaction is being elicited by this Five of Wands energy, we may find that we have that reaction based out of fear. Being afraid that it's going to go the same way, being afraid that someone's going to react a particular way, being afraid that we're going to lose everything, right? There's some sort of fear mechanism at play with the Nine of Wands, or the Nine of Swords, where that's part of why we're feeling the way that we are about it. And so that would be really good to isolate and identify, because we might find that our true self doesn't actually feel that way about it. Here we have the Empress card. And with the Empress card, we have the Death card, and then we have the Moon, and it's all hiding the Wheel of Fortune. Going back to the Ace of Pentacle again. So, that new beginning. With the Empress to the Death card, there's a transformation that's taking place. This transformation feels less like it's taking place in the masculine energy and more like it's happening inside the feminine energy. So what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing a period of time where people have had to heal their own feminine energy, and because they've had to heal their own feminine energy, the masculine energy may have had to be in charge for a longer period of time. So protecting the self, guarding the self, having like rock solid boundaries for the self. Sometimes when we get into that energy, if the feminine energy isn't able to rise again into her appropriate place, we can sometimes be cold in ways that maybe we're not necessarily recognizing. And so this is something that is starting to transform. There's something that we're about to see inside this mysterious sphere of the moon that is going to kind of surprise someone, I think, once they finally realize it. And this is part of what is changing. It's like a karma that is being released, right? It's an internal process, something that's being released inside of us as we're making these external moves. Again, it's directly linked to this change that we're having, that we're doing on the outside, whether we consciously understand that it is or not. It's as we change one energy outside of ourselves, it's just changing an energy that's going on inside as well. This is an old wound that it's time to open. And I feel that for many of you, it is inside the heart space, because the Empress here has the heart and Venus is present. Now, again, going back to what I said about the idea of an internal alchemy, that's what we see inside of the Wheel of Fortune, right? We see the 3 primes here, and then we see that symbol for dissolution. I tend to view that sometimes as Aquarius, where the mind of man, right? There's something going on inside the mental spaces. Here we see that mirrored, that is trying to work itself out. It's something that's been hidden from us for a very long time. And so this is a message coming through basically to explain to somebody what's happening is that this internal feminine is trying to, she's trying to rise again inside of somebody so that there can be a greater balance. It's not to say that you don't have a pretty good balance in your life, but there's something inside the heart space where there needs to be a little bit more of that feminine energy in order for the heart space to truly be an operant heart space. I don't know why I wanted to say it that way, but that's how it came through. So we're leaving it there. As I'm saying that, I'm looking over and I'm seeing a lamp with a green lampshade. So it's almost like turning that heart space light back on. What this can mean is that for some of you, the reason why this is so important is because this is where that magnetic property of love starts to impact our lives. We have lost our magnetism in a love sense in some way, whether this is romantic love or it's just attracting people that are like soul tribe, right? This seems to, I'm feeling that very strongly. That seems to be an emphasis for somebody trying to attract soul tribe. And so the light's trying to turn back on, but in order for it to do so, there's these situations that have to, okay, we'll take them. Thank you, wind. We will take them and no more. Thank you, thank you. And now I notice, again, remember I said the 4 of Pentacles sort of energy, the miserly energy. We have the miser popping out with the green. So this is about the heart space and holding on to our heart space here. There is something here that we may need to repair inside of ourselves. And this is, you know, two aspects coming together because of that pink ribbon through the energy of love. So for some of you, you may be having some conflicts or difficulties with a person right now, and there may need to be some sort of forgiveness and patience extended into this situation. However, I do feel this is a rift between our own masculine and feminine energies. I'm seeing that again here, right, with the perfect storm. We see that storm being placed over that raven's heart space, and this raven is looking at these numbers. The numbers are 4 and 4. If you are familiar with my readings, you know that number 4 for me is my symbol for the conflict. However, the 4 and 4 being a double number coming out to an 8, it means that there's some sort of conflict manifesting external to us because there's something within our heart space that's brewing. And I feel that that is this sort of healing of this miser energy, of this holding on, everyone stay away, you know, or whatever it happens to be for you. Here it's a tidy house, and this is what it's about. It's about cleaning the temple, right? Cleaning the energy of the home. And it seems to be because we are being brought out of this dust devil energy, moving out of stagnation. So there's been something within the heart space that's been stagnant here, and we have spiritual narcolepsy. Now, this doesn't mean that someone isn't in tune. It doesn't mean that someone isn't experiencing spiritual things. It means that there's something with the light of love that has turned off for somebody, and so this has cut us off in some way, and it's ready to be turned on. Someone may have been in this place here for 19 years. I don't know why that's what's coming through with the number 19, but it is. Numbers not 1 and 9 can be important, so can 20. So there's something here. Maybe the age of 20 is really important for somebody. The age of 19 might be important for somebody. I'm also hearing the age of 15 might be important for somebody. But there is this sort of sense that someone is trying to open up a light that has been out for a very long time. Even this dust devil, if you look at this, there's a that golden light over this woman's heart. And so there is a light that's trying to turn back on inside of our heart space. And so that's why these situations right now are happening. How much do we love ourselves? How much are we able to give to ourselves? How much are we able to give to the things that we love? How much are we able to give to people that we love? Even if we don't necessarily understand where they're coming from, how much patience can we extend? There's something here that's trying to change in the karma inside of our own life. There's a vibration that's trying to be released. And this is a vibration that maybe we've built up walls around ourselves in some way to protect ourselves in that heart space from being hurt. We see all those bricks just falling away from this person. That heart space has an eye over it, and that heart space is closed. This is about opening that heart space again. And it's not to say that, whoever this message is for, that you have a completely closed heart space. It's just to say that there's a quality inside of it that requires this energy to return. And that's what's trying to happen. On the surface, there's a lot of creativity and contentment. There's creative ideas, inspirations for ways that we can become content, how we can set ourselves up for the future, right? So there's a lot of things that we may be building for ourselves, transitions that we're thinking about taking, moves that we're thinking about making, priorities that we're restructuring, reorganizing, and strategizing. And it's all because we want to come into this place of contentment, some place where we can be happy, where we can be set up. I am seeing that for somebody here, it's like this ideal over here, and we're still over here. So we still have this pond to cross. And as we cross that pond, these things are going to start coming up now. Under the surface, under that pond, again, right? So when we turn that light on, do you see how all these rays are emanating from this sort of like heart space of this hawk, and it's guiding this hawk down? That's exactly what I'm seeing. This is called achievement, right? I almost feel that after someone passes through this, like I said, it's feeling a little testy as somebody passes through this this energy of finally opening that up, maybe for the first time in your life, allowing that light to turn on. We're achieving something. It's something that we've desired for a very long time. For some of you, this might be a significant person in your life. For others of you, this is just going to be being able to pour yourself fully into something that you love and being able to accomplish something with it. There's a measure of curiosity that needs to be in play as you go through these conflicts and these obstacles. If you can maintain your curiosity, you can maintain your centeredness, right? The curiosity of, how is this other person experiencing this? Or, oh, there's an obstacle in my path, so maybe this is a redirect. What else can I do? This curious sort of energy is going to get you a lot further than, you know what, I've been here before, screw this, this is what always happens. That's always going to lead you back the same place, right? But if you can open up your mind and open up your childlike wonder to the situation, you're going to get a lot further. I do feel that for some of you, this really is about partnership of, again, kinfolk, right? So partnership of like-minded people has something to do in this story, whether this is the thing that you're going to be attracting when this heart space is open, or if this is where the conflicts are happening. I think that this energy is just very important in this story somehow. Now, we're being brought back into the past. Our ancestors may have been people who required more compassion, meaning maybe they didn't have as much compassion for others as they should have. This energy is trying to heal out through us. Let's see this, right? Maybe we feel that our family, for example, if you came from a family where people didn't get to speak their truth, they didn't get to speak about things, or they didn't invest in themselves, or whatever it is, you may recognize that this story is something that has been repeated time and time again. If it's, for example, someone loved doing this, but they didn't invest their all, they didn't give it their all. Or maybe we saw people give it their all and we're like, it didn't work out for them, why would it work out for me? There's something here that's requiring compassion and to be healed. And it has to do with our ancestry, the way that we saw our parents struggle, the way that we saw them interact with love or giving and receiving, whatever the situation is for you. There's something here. Okay, I'm hearing One last card. Okay. Okay, resolve. So whatever the situations are that are taking place in this sort of like subtext energy, these are things that are going to resolve themselves. But they're going to resolve themselves if we show up in this Empress energy and understand that it's okay to allow this energy to sit in that heart space again. So whoever this message is for, I wish you the best of luck with this. If it resonates for you, please hit that like button. And until next time.